Good morning. Most of the students have joined, so we shall continue with our today's aspect that is very important from the examination point of view is separation of lanthanides. Most of the times the question has been asked, discuss the modern method of separation of lanthanides. The modern method of separation of lanthanides is nothing but it is a definitely ion exchange method. Now, for these separation methods of lanthanides, yesterday we have completed the lanthanide contraction. There is a reference of lanthanide contraction during the study of the separation of lanthanides by ion exchange methods. It is revealed that all lanthanides, all the 15 members, they do occur in nature together. One cannot distinguish whether this is a lanthanum, this is a cerium, gadolinium, or europium, and so on. Because all the elements they do occur together, scientists were thought of, say for example, for a particular research purpose, if a gadolinium element that is required, it was very difficult in the early days that to extract gadolinium from all the mixture of lanthanides. So the methods of separation in those days were involved two different steps. The old methods, we can study the separation of lanthanides into different aspects. First of all, I shall discuss only the old methods, but I will discuss the modern method in more detail, that is the ion exchange method. The old methods which were used in the early days, those are named as a fractional precipitation from the solution. So the scientists were carried out the precipitation method so as to separate a particular metallic element from the lanthanide. But the process of separation by fractional precipitation was very tedious and hence it was outdated. Then they were thought of the fractional crystallization of or isomorphism salts. So certain methods were adopted so as to again extract the metallic elements in pure condition by using fractional crystallization. But there are again lot of drawbacks for this method and hence the method was again outdated. Then certain scientists were doing research how to carry out a separation that in certain areas the scientists were thought of to separate the lanthanide elements by using one more method that is known as a fractional thermal decomposition of salts. So they have conducted the decomposition of this salt, but the results are not fruitful. So again, this method was discarded. Then another method was used, which is rather up to certain extent was fruitful, is known as the complex formation. But this method was having a lot of limitations. Even though the process is fruitful, there are a lot of limitations and hence this method is also discarded after some time. Then again one more method was used, that is a valence change method, that is selective oxidation and reduction. Here the lanthanide elements have undergone oxidation and reduction simultaneously, and again by using certain oxidizing agents these elements were oxidized to the higher oxidation states or lower oxidation states so as to separate these ions from one another. But again there is a failure for this method. So by considering all these methods and the drawbacks which are arised in all these methods, scientists were thought of to perform one another method that is known as a modern method, which was recently developed, that is known as the solvent extraction, and another method is the ion exchange method. Amongst these two methods, solvent extraction method is also very fruitful, gives better results than the previous old methods, but the solvent extraction method was a laborious method, time consuming method. So scientists have to work out for days, couple of days together so as to extract a single metal. So after the advent of the solvent extraction method, again, certain scientists were thought of to carry out this separation of lanthanides by using certain different methods. So they have synthesized certain resins, and I know that in our laboratory we have conducted one experiment, that is determination of sodium content by using ion exchange method. So in this method we have used the cation exchange resin, where by adding the solution of common salt, the sodium ions they get adsorbed temporarily on the resin bed itself, and an equivalent amount of H plus ions are set free by the resin. This particular fact was used in the early days. So the scientists they have used this ion exchange method, where the exchange of like charges between the solution under analysis and the resin itself takes place during the course of this ion exchange method. As the lanthanide ions they get exchanged with H plus ions from the resin bed itself, and hence they have given the name for this method is a ion exchange method, that is exchange of ions takes place. So here they have conducted this particular separation of tri-positive lanthanide ions. I am using the word tri-positive lanthanide ions because as we have seen that all these elements they do display the common oxidation state, that is known as the +3 oxidation state, that is a group valency. So I have used the words tri-positive ions. So a solution of tri-positive ions is taken, and this solution is allowed to pass down to the through this column, just like that we have passed the solution of common salt through the resin bed. By maintaining the flow rate, we have collected the effluent, and the solution that we have added from the top of this column, that is known as an influent, and this technique was named as elution technique or ion exchange method or ion exchange chromatography. I will explain in more details why it is also known as a ion exchange chromatography. Now if we look at the methods that is used for this analysis, that this method utilizes two steps. As just now I have discussed that there is an exchange of ions takes place between the lanthanide ions and the resin bed itself. It is seen that the process of separation of lanthanide ions take place in two important steps. The first step is adsorption of lanthanide ions on the resin bed itself. First step is known as adsorption. Adsorption is a surface phenomena. That means the lanthanide ions they get adsorbed on the resin bed itself. And second step the scientists have followed is a complex formation. So first is the adsorption and second is a complex formation. Here when the solution of tri-positive ion is allowed to pass down through this column containing a cation exchange resin, first of all, amongst all the 15 members, those ions which are big in size, more basic, more metallic, those gets adsorbed first on the resin bed, and later on the smaller ions are adsorbed. And as we aware yesterday that the big sized ion is a lanthanide and small size ion is a lutetium, because yesterday we have seen that the definition of this lanthanide contraction is that the steady decrease in atomic dimensions with the increase in atomic number is known as a lanthanide contraction. So this is the only physical differences in the properties of lanthanides that leads to the separation of lanthanide. Otherwise this separation of lanthanide was next to impossible. So one should thank that the scientists who discovered how lanthanide and lanthanide contraction takes place, and because of this lanthanide contraction nowadays a lot of research that is going on these lanthanide members. So this lanthanide contraction that leads to the differences in the size. So size difference that related to the physical differences in the properties, as Just now we have discussed that all the 15 members, they do occur together. They are also very similar in properties. So it is hard to separate all the members from one another. So they have thought of this ion exchange method because there is a size difference. So whenever there is a physical differences in the properties of these elements, one can easily separate the ions from one another. So because there is a size difference between lanthanum and cerium, or between cerium or gadolinium, and so on. So here we can conclude that lanthanum being big in size because of addition of electrons to the same shell of electrons. So F orbitals or F electrons are very poor in shielding, and hence because of poor shielding effect, the nuclear force of attraction that is increased, and this nuclear force of attraction or nuclear charge that pulls the outermost electrons gradually towards the nucleus, and because of this there is a gradual decrease in the atomic dimensions. So on account of this, lanthanum is more basic, more metallic, and lutetium is least basic, least metallic. Also, lanthanum is having high ionization enthalpy or high ionization energy. Lutetium is having lanthanum is having very low ionization potential because we can remove the electron very easily because of big size, and we know that the electrons which are present in the outermost orbital, these electrons are very loosely bound, and hence very small amount of energy is to be supplied so as to remove this electron. That means ionization potential is very low. But as we move further up to lutetium being small in size, because of smaller size, the electrons from the outermost orbital are very tightly bound with the nucleus, and hence to remove these electrons which are tightly bound with the nucleus, large amount of energy is to be supplied, and ionization potential energy is very high. So IP values goes on increasing as we move from lanthanum to lutetium, that is from atomic number 57 to 71. So this is all about the ion exchange separation, upon which the factors upon which this separation that depends. So for this method, we have to use again a simple assembly. Now just look at this, and while discussing, you have to quote the important points, those you feel very important from the examination point of view. Now for this method, a long glass tube is used. It is just like our burette that we have used, and you are very well familiar with this glass tube, which is known as the column. At the bottom of this column, a glass wool is kept. This is a setting of assembly, and here we keep a reservoir or a beaker in which we can collect the lanthanum ions, and here this column is packed with the cation exchange resin. What is the peculiarity of cation exchange resin? These are having exchangeable H plus ions, and they are having polymeric anion. They are having exchangeable H plus ions. Another property of these resins are almost hydrophilic in nature. That means they have attraction towards water, and they are denser than water. They are denser than water. So these are certain characteristic features of these resins that we have already discussed during our practicals. So this column is packed with a stationary phase, that means constant phase, that is known as a resin, which is a cation exchange resin. Now, to have the separation, first of all, an aqueous solution of tripositive lanthanum ions is taken. Ln is a common word that is given to all the 15 members of lanthanum ions, and this aqueous solution is now poured onto this top of this column, and here stopcock is there. Initially this stopcock is closed just we have conducted this experiment in laboratory. A stopcock is there, and initially we have stopped the solution coming out of this column, and this solution is poured and it is allowed to pass down through this column. After complete addition of this solution, which is known as the influent, we have discussed this point also, and the solution that is collected at the bottom is known as the effluent, and this technique is known as the elution technique. This technique is known as a elution technique. This is known as a elution technique. So first step, as we have discussed, is adsorption of the tripositive lanthanide ions. First step is adsorption of the tripositive lanthanide ions on the resin bed itself. Now, when we pour this solution on the resin bed itself, and now if we stop this cock, that is the solution that is coming out of this column, if we stop this solution, then first this step is followed, is known as adsorption. How the adsorption of all the 15 members take place, that we have to discuss here. As just now we have seen that lanthanum atom number 57, which is big in size, as we know, which is more metallic, which is also more basic, having low ionization enthalpy, and it is also more electropositive. So all these points you have to remember. And last member, atom number 71, which is very small in size, least metallic, least basic, and having very highest ionization enthalpy or ionization potential, and it is again least electropositive. Now here, when we pour this solution, aqueous solution of tripositive lanthanide ions on the resin bed itself, first of all adsorption takes place. So amongst all the 15 members, first of all lanthanum gets adsorbed first. So there is a choice amongst these 15 members. First of all, lanthanum ions gets adsorbed on the resin bed itself, and followed by other members in the decreasing order of their atomic number. That means, first of all, atomic number 57, lanthanum is adsorbed, then cerium is adsorbed, then praseodymium is adsorbed, atom number 59, then neodymium 60, and so on, and last lanthanum, that is adsorbed. So first of all, the ion which is big in size, more metallic, more basic, having low ionization potential and more electropositive, that ion has a chance to get adsorbed on the resin bed itself, followed by other members in the increasing order of their atomic number. So lanthanum is adsorbed on this resin bed at last. How the reaction takes place, how the ionization reaction takes place, just see here. I am representing Ln for all the lanthanide ions, and plus thrice HR, that is a H plus ions are replaceable or exchangeable, R stands for resin. So these resins contain exchangeable or replaceable H plus ions. During the course of this adsorption, just now we have seen the first ion which is having the chance to get adsorbed on the resin bed is a lanthanum. So first of all, LnR3 plus thrice H plus or Lu plus 3 plus thrice HR, it forms lutetium, which is adsorbed on the resin bed, and thrice H plus ions are set free. So whatever quantity of lutetium ions are adsorbed on the resin bed, that much amount of H plus ions are set free in the form of this effluent. So after this, other ions, they also get adsorbed on the resin bed in the increasing order of their atomic number. So lastly, lanthanum gets adsorbed. So this is the first step of this ion exchange method. The second step of this ion exchange method to have a effective separation of these lanthanides into their individual ions. First of all, a buffer solution is prepared having the pH in between 3 to 7, that is known as ammonium citrate, citric acid. A calculated quantity of ammonium citrate and citric acid is taken and the pH is maintained in between 3 to 7. And now this ammonium citrate citric acid, that is this buffer solution having pH in between 3 to 7, is now added to this column from the top, and this is known as the eluting agent. We know this word, or it is also known as a eluent, the solution that is used to elute the desired ion from the resin bed itself is known as a eluting agent or eluent. And after adding this eluent, now exactly reverse process takes place. That means when we have added the lanthanum tripositive lanthanum solution, that is the aqueous solution of tripositive lanthanum ions on resin bed, first of all the big size lanthanum ion that get adsorbed, followed by other members in the increasing order of their atomic number. But when we add a eluting agent such as ammonium citrate citric acid on the column, here the lanthanum ions form the complex and the complexation increases from lanthanum to lutetium, that is from 57 to 71. What is the meaning of this sentence? This lanthanum forms, this lanthanum is showing only 10 minutes are left, so I have to complete this in 10 minutes. I will definitely complete this within 10 minutes. So here the complexation increases, or the complex formation increases from lanthanum to lutetium. That means lanthanum forms a less stable complex with ammonium citric acid, while lutetium form more stable complex with this ammonium citrate citric acid. So as soon as we have added this ammonium citrate citric acid, that is eluent, on this column. First of all, amongst these all 15 members, lutetium, that forms lutetium citrate, that is a lutetium citrate. Then after the formation of lutetium citrate, next member is a ytterbium citrate, and other members in the decreasing order of their atomic number. That means in this second step that we know as the complexation or complex formation, first of all the ion which is least basic or having high IP value or least metallic, that forms more stable complex. That means lutetium can form more complex with this buffer solution and can form lutetium citrate. So first of all, atomic number 71, that forms a stable complex, and lastly lanthanum can form a complex that is having atomic number 57. So adsorption takes place in the increasing order of their atomic number, while complex formation takes place in the decreasing order of their atomic number. That is, the first chance to form a stable complex is of lutetium, and other members can form the complex in the decreasing order of their atomic number. Now, this technique is also known as, just now we have seen that this technique is known as a ion exchange chromatography. We know ion exchange, how the ion gets exchanged, that we have seen while carrying out this particular reaction. This is ion exchange, but the method is also known as ion exchange chromatography, because here the word chroma is there, which definitely indicates a color, and the separation or the technique that is known as it is a chromatography. So formation of colored ions and to separate them by using a technique is known as a chromatography. So this is known as ion exchange chromatography. That means as soon as we add a buffer solution containing ammonium citrate citric acid, here on this column colored bands were obtained just now that we see, that is known as a rainbow. A rainbow-like colored bands have been obtained on this resin bed itself, which indicates the formation of complex with different lanthanide ions. So here, for example, this may be, this band may be green in color, this band may be yellow in color, this band is a blue in color, this band is pink in color, this band is again red in color. So different colored bands are obtained, and because of this, this technique is known as a chromatography or ion exchange chromatography. Now here this flow rate is adjusted by opening this stopcock, and more amount of buffer solution is added, that is eluent is added from the top, and here we have collected the solution in the receiver. So here the first colored solution that is obtained is a green colored solution, which is definitely of lutetium. When this green color vanishes or disappears or dies out, more amount of buffer solution is added from the top, maintaining the flow rate. When this green color disappears, that indicates lutetium is separated from the column. Now, when we add again buffer solution, then again a separate receiver is kept here, and here we can collect another solution that I have mentioned here, yellow colored solution. So when this yellow colored solution is received in a separate receiver in the form of a effluent, and when all the solution is received in the form of effluent, this yellow colored band disappears. This disappearance of yellow colored band from the resin bed indicates that ytterbium, that is a tri-positive ytterbium ion, is separated. Similarly, other members are also separated from the column depending upon the decreasing order of their atomic number. So here we can show it as like this. And lastly, 57. So these ions are separated from the column in the decreasing order of their atomic number. So this is how the ions are separated, and this separation is possible only because of the lanthanide contraction, which plays a very important role in the separation of these lanthanide ions into their individual ions. So this is how one can use this ion exchange chromatography, or another word that normally used during the exam time, that the modern method of separation of these lanthanides. So this is the method that is known as the ion exchange method or ion exchange chromatography, which depends upon two steps. We know that first step, as we have discussed just now, is first step is adsorption. The adsorption takes place depending upon the size difference. Lanthanum being big in size, more metallic, more basic, low IP value gets adsorbed first, followed by other members in the increasing order of their atomic number. So this is first step in the ion exchange method, is a adsorption method. What is the second method? Second step of separation? Second step is a formation of a complex. So adsorption of lanthanums on resin that decreases with increase in atomic number, and the smaller ions, they get adsorbed on the resin bed at last. After adsorption, the ions can be effectively separated or eluted out of the column by using the ammonium citrate citric acid buffer solution having the pH value between 3 to 7. After the addition of this buffer solution, colored bands have been obtained. Here again we have to mention one very important point, is that the complexation of these lanthanum ions that increases with increase in atomic number, that is lanthanum that forms less stable complex while lutetium forms a more stable complex. Lanthanum can form a less stable complex and that bound with the resin bed very tightly. This should be noted. And lutetium that forms a more stable complex. When a complex that forms a stable complex with this buffer solution, this complex sorry, this complex is very loosely bound. Because lutetium citrate complex is very loosely bound with the resin bed and hence it can be elated out of the column easily, followed by other members in the decreasing order of their atomic number. So because lutetium can form a stable complex which is a loosely bound that eluted out of the column first, lanthanum being more stable, more more basic, that forms a complex that is a less stable complex, and these less stable complexes are very tightly bound with the resin. Because these lanthanum ions, they get adsorbed on the resin bed first and they can form loose